So Yaakov sees that his father-in-law's face is not like it was before. Right now, we're just going to take it plain, which means that it looks like his father-in-law is getting annoyed with him. All right, he's working for his father-in-law, so it's not a good thing. Gimel. Vayomer is the end of last week. Vayomer Hashem el Yaakov. Shuv el Eretz Avotai. Please, yes. Yeah, I should say it. Okay. I'm married. I know. Okay. God appears to Yaakov and gives him a commandment. Enough. Go back home. Go back to Eretz Canaan, which is Israel. You heard? Nice. Okay. Dalet. Vayishlach Yaakov vayikra Rachel Leah. He has a meeting with his wives. His two wives are the daughters of Laban. And he says, hey, Vayomer Lahem. And he said, girls, Daddy and I, our relationship is straight. It's not a healthy situation. He's not like he was the day before, where Hashem helped me. And he goes on, and you know how hard I work. And I stopped because I wanted to fit everything on the page. But there's another two psukim of Yaakov having a conversation, explaining to his wives why we need to go. Listen to what we learned from this. It's beautiful. Take a look. But the question must be asked. If Hashem appears to any one of us and says, it's time to go, it's time to change. Girls, what would you do if God appears to you and says, you're moving to Deal, you're moving to Israel? What would you do? Move! And if I'm a husband that God spoke to me, I come home and I say, honey, pack your bag. That's it. What's this whole conversation? The shlach, ladies, the shlach, was a Kabbalist rabbi. He was a very, very holy spiritual man. This is what he learns from this. The Shlach Kadosh provides an interesting insight. When a person wants something from his family, spouse, or children, it is not proper to compel them to do it, even if he has the ability to force, right? In other words, if one has the means to dictate absolute terms, this is what's going to be. That's not the way to run a household. Daddy goes to a shiur. The family's not Shomer Shabbos ever. All of a sudden, Daddy gets inspired by the rabbi. He comes home. That's it. And what we do? No, can't work that way. Got a goal. Got to work towards it. You have to talk them into it. You have to. They're not where you are, and that's what's happening in our community. I don't mean Sephardic. I mean the Jewish community. Right? Somebody goes to a class. By the way, it happens. Are you guys all right there? Good. Okay. By the way, it happens both ways. I have women who go to a class, not necessarily this one, go to a class and they get inspired and they hear something, right? And they come home, blah. That's not how to do it. Yes. So Yaakov understood that at the end of the day, again, God spoke to him. He didn't come home and say, God said out. He didn't say the word God yet. I just thought it was a fascinating lesson. There was a man who became a little more religious, and he wanted to have all his dishes dipped, as they say. To be tovel, you know that. You buy dishes from a non-Jew, nothing to do with kashrut. It's not kashrut. Brand new dishes. I don't know if you guys know this. You have to be tovel the dishes. He was nervous that his wife was going to flip the lid. So he planned a vacation. And then he gave the key to somebody. And the guy came in and dipped all the dishes. And it was done. And then he had time to say, honey, this is what happened. All right. Maybe you don't like that as a wife. Maybe you don't think it's a smart idea. I thought it was an idea. Because he was urged to dip the dishes. He didn't know what to do. He's not going to go and start fighting about this and force somebody. Okay, something to think of on your own. Got it? In your own head. The very cute cop, for those who remember, then we'll do something new. Okay, look on top. It says that Yaakov saw that Laban's face was not like it was, which means if you learn it simple, what does it mean? That Lavan doesn't like him. Okay, so the question we ask is really, Lavan didn't like him the day he met him. He switched Rachel and Leah on him. He always had business trouble. So all of a sudden now, after 20 years, he's saying that Lavan is not such a good guy. Who remembers? It's a beautiful shot. Listen carefully. You know what happened? All of it. Oh, good. Ah, the barista. Yeah, there we go. Good. Where's mine? No. Leslie takes care of you. You know who Leslie is?
Oh, mine.
Yours is a very special girl. Your girl. Okay. You okay, Sally? Oh, okay. So, you ready? You never heard this? No, let's watch. Lavan was always a cheater. He was always a tough guy. All of a sudden, Yaakov is saying, I woke up this morning, and to me, Lavan didn't seem so bad anymore. He says, I think it's time to leave. It's such a deep shot. It's beautiful. Sure. He always recognized the bad values of Lavan the moment he met him. What Yaakov is saying is, now I'm beginning to tolerate it. You know, he's not such a bad guy. This is our society, ladies. I'm really sorry. I don't have a television, but I do have a computer. I'll even tell you, I don't know where you stand in certain, I'm sure you stand with me. My wife Safred is a beautiful person. She loves to watch shows where they do over the houses. You know, the homes. Do you guys read that? She loves that. That's what she watches, okay, on the computer. Right? She loves it. She's excited, she likes it. And she said to me, so I have to stop watching it because the type of couples that they deal with is out of control.
Would be two husbands.
That's one example. It's like I'm not here to judge or criticize anybody, but I don't know, there's stuff that you see and you hear that 50 years ago, you know. I mean, somebody made a speech about public schools. I'm not saying, you know, hopefully we're better than public schools. You know, what was the bad thing? They were chewing gum in class, you know. And today, if you don't get shot, you're happy if you get through the day. And this, oh yeah, turn on the news, right? This guy killed, this guy carjacked, this guy, and we don't even react because we get used to it. And getting used to it is not a good thing. Not a good thing. We have to maintain that concept. So it's a nice job. It's a nice job, right? It's not mine. Actually, no, I bet you great. We made a wedding this week. Okay. We always talk about how even the avot have to let things, remember we talked about that last week and 2 weeks ago, let things slide a little bit to hold a value of other people's respect. You see the big blue letters? It's a very big problem. How could Yaakov marry two sisters? Why is that a question?
It was before Matan.
So that's how it's not a question, right? If it's before Matan Torah, right?
Proper relationship.
Oh, no, that's nice. That's nice. They meant halacha. They mean halacha. Okay. So we have Kabbalah that Abraham, Yitzchak, and Yaakov kept concepts of the Torah before the Torah was given. Look at the bottom. This week's Parashat contains an account of Yaakov's 4 marriages. Daughters of Laban. By the way, just in case your mind's ticking, marrying more than one woman is not against the Torah.
No.
We know that, right?
Yeah.
No, much later. Cherem to Rabbi Gershon. Rabbi Gershon was a Rishon. That means after the Gemara. That means like Rashi's time. Okay? Up to there, one was allowed to marry more than one woman. As a matter of fact, is there a Yemenite custom that they do it still?
Yeah, one guy.
Boy, but that means 4 mothers-in-law, right? That's why they stopped. That's great. That is great. Oh, you heard John. All right, I just want to feel that. Why didn't we ask about 2 wives? 2 wives is not a story from the Torah. Maybe not happy about it, but maybe Gershon wasn't happy about it, and it's called Cherem. wasn't Aram, no, like excommunication. Aram, the Rabbi Gershom, who said he's not married to wives anymore. Question. Two sisters, Israel, not a lot of sisters. But the question is, it appears to contradict the traditional view that Yaakov, together with Abraham and Yitzchak, kept all the commandments of the Torah despite the fact that God had not yet given them to Israel. Out of a combination of personal zealousness and prophetic knowledge. And of course, this goes deep that I really can't explain. It seems that the Avot had this prophetic knowledge of certain mitzvot. It's fascinating, by the way. We have indications of when the Malachim came to Lot. In stone, they said it was Pesach, right? It was like weird stuff that he made matzah. Say what? Well, you don't have to stone. They didn't have to invest. God burned them all out. Okay, fine. So that's the question. So what's going on? There is a very uncomfortable answer. I'm going to tell you because you haven't come across it. It's a little scary. I'm not taking any credit for it. His name is the Ramban. Nachmanides, but you know Rambam, Moshe ben Nachman. He's a very big commentator on. I don't have it written down because I didn't want it right now. He is a very big commentator on Chumash. He claims that real mitzvot are only when you live in Israel. When you live outside of Israel, it's practice. But full-fledged mitzvah is only if you live in Israel. Girls, you want to make aliyah? Now watch how uncomfortable this is. So he married Rachel and Leah when he was in Haran. By the time he went and settled in Israel, who passed? So I'm telling you, it's a very, very heavy situation. That's the Ramban, and that's how he deals with it. Which, by the way, makes me crazy. I live in New York. That means my mitzvahs are not 100%. It's crazy. Okay, just don't get turned off. I'm just like it's a famous Ramban. Not everybody agrees with him. Avi.
That you don't have to do that, or that
No, it's not. It's not considered the outside is a practice for when you move to Israel.
Yes, we don't get that much credit.
Okay, I'm not in charge of credit. My credit card is already too high. Okay, so outside the side to the Ramban, we answer this, right? I like this answer. Next page. Oh, page 2. It's always one thing. Here we go. Rabbi Yaakov, you have a question? No. No. They were maid servants. It was very. It seemed to be a thing that they married like the person that came with like God. Okay, Rabbi Yaakov Kamenetsky, a rabbi you should follow. You like to follow rabbis. He's not alive, but he was an amazing man. In his Emet Yaakov office, a surprisingly simple explanation where Yaakov allowed himself to marry Rachel and marry his sister. Yaakov not only desired to marry Rachel, but also made a solemn promise to her that he would marry her, as the Ramban notes in his commentary, which means when he met Rachel at the well, and he said, I'm going to work for you. Now, why did he marry Leah? I'm not going to go there. No, not going there for a reason. They say he saw Rachel in the future as his wife, whatever it is, right? He met Rachel, he felt this was the girl for him, and he promised her that he would marry her. Said, I don't know if he gave her a ring or whatever it was, or he said, I love you, or he took his graduation ring from senior. I don't know. What happened? If we assume that Yaakov followed Torah law even in Haran, then after Lavan deceived Yaakov, he didn't know that was going to happen. He's going to the wedding and he's marrying who? Rachel, the one he promised, right? And instead of Rachel, Yaakov faces a dilemma. What's the dilemma? He made a promise to Rachel that he would marry her, but this would require violating the prohibition against marrying sisters, which is something he wants to do, right? Something he took upon himself. He would either have to violate his vow to Rachel or his commitment to Torah law. What do you do? Yaakov Kamenetsky said, Yaakov Avinu, girls, Yaakov Avinu, the father of our nation. Yaakov was not required to obey Torah law before it was given. He committed himself voluntarily. certainly his voluntary religious standards should not get in the way of fulfilling his formal obligations to another person. You have obligations to people, you give your word, but I want to be free. I mean, you're not kosher. We're not talking about Shabbat. We're talking about a level of Yiddishkeit, a level of Judaism that I took upon myself. Sorry, child. That's extra. You don't do extra on other people's faces. It's Yaakov. I find this very important. Okay.
You're not supposed to take her hand.
So he can't because now she's a sister. But he's not obligated to keep the Torah. He took it upon himself as a more religious person. A lot of people take, and you ever hear the word Kabbalah? If your daughter ever goes to Israel, girls do this more than boys. If your daughter ever goes to Israel, she goes to the seminary, she flips out, she's going to say, this is my Kabbalah, this is my, okay, relax, okay. I'm accepting something on myself. For example, some people, for watch they must say, I will always say Asher Yatzar flowers. There are people say Asher Yatzar, leaving the bathroom. It's by the way, important. Ever. Some people say Asher Yatzar now with a little more Kabbalah. I will always say Birkat Hamazon from reading a book. It's a Kabbalah. It's a beautiful Kabbalah. It's nice.
Is there any way that we could make this louder?
What?
Can we make this louder?
Can we make it loud? I'm not loud enough, guys. How do I make it louder?
I have no idea. I'm listening on a phone and I don't hear you well.
Oh, I don't know. I'll try to speak louder, okay?
Oh, it's not helping.
It's not helping.
You're speaking very well, but it's just not coming through. Okay, fine.
Okay,
Just
I'm
continue.
sorry. Okay.
cannot move to this side, there's not enough.
Who, this lady? She's on the thing. Oh. Maybe turn on the volume on the phone.
I did. It's not coming through. It's
Oh, okay.
muffled.
I'm sorry.
Okay, just continue.
Okay, here we go. So Yaakov is not required to make the strict moral obligation of keeping one's word expressed. Okay, again, you have to be careful. I always say this. I'm not saying violating a law of the Torah. You don't do that. But if it's something that a person took upon himself and it's going to irritate the other person, right? It's going to take away me promising something. No. And if you think this is just Yaakov, there's a very famous name by Korelis, and his pen name is the Chazon Ish. Okay, you don't get more right wing than the Chazon Ish. For those of you, again, if you have a child who goes to Israel and comes back, and all of a sudden they come to the Seder and they're eating a matzah this big. Okay, that's the Chazon Ish's shiur, his measurement. The joke they used to say, you know, that in Israel, the Zealands, they cannot in, they throw rocks at people who are Machal shops. You guys know that? So guy goes to this guy's house and he sees a little rock and a big rock. He goes, what are the rocks for? He goes, to throw on people who are driving on Shabbat. He goes, what is the big rock for? Because that's the Chazon Ish shiur, you know? The larger shiur. Chazon Ish is very, 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 very strict. Whatever, I'm not gonna go, no, beautiful, great. So, ready? Here's the story. Keeping your words. The Torah says, be careful to always fulfill everything that came out of his mouth. When someone asks if he can keep an agreement with the man, and he exclusively said to leave that there, the Chazon Ish said that this is not enough. Yes, you run around saying, I'm going to do this, I'm building that. Okay, building's a nice guy, but it doesn't always happen. Let me tell you how building that there works. Building that means that you're not obligated as a netter, but you did give your word. A word is a word. You say you're going to do something, then keep your word. That's it. You understand? Don't mix me up here. Believe that it works because it's not a netter, but it's still a commitment that you made that you're breaking a commitment. Okay, show how far this is. It's amazing. Ready? All those things you said is not a vow, right? Okay, you said. When it's still obligated to fulfill what you need to do. As well known, Chazon Ish tried to form a minyan to daven mincha gedola in his bedroom. I'm going to explain that. Davening ends in mincha, right? All the tefillot have times. The earliest, I'm sure you've heard the word mincha gedola. Somebody in your family probably ran to mincha gedola. Mincha gedola is the earliest time you can daven mincha. It's 6.5 hours. Perfect hours from the morning. So nowadays, those probably 40, something like that. It's a good time to know because some people I don't know if you know, some people, if they have a bad dream, they fast. You guys ever hear about these things? No, never heard. Never heard Ta'anit Chalom? Ta'anit Chalom, Ta'anit Chalom. Wow. So some people have a very, very scary dream that really frightens them. Just for your own sake, in the Sephardic Sipur, they have a little piece that says something, Tava, Halom. They have a thing that you go to three friends and you say it to them, and they say something nice to you, like totally trade type, like a person dark. Ashkenazim don't do that, but some people fast. Now some people have trouble fasting. So they fast half a day. Half a day is either chatzot or mincha gdola. Some people have a custom of chatan v'kala, fast the day of their wedding. You ever heard of that? Okay, so some people who feel that it's very hard for to fast the whole day of their wedding, they fast it. So mincha gdola is the beginning of the tip of the afternoon. Got it? From there you got mincha until sunset. His own ish, his custom, doesn't mean we have to do that, we have a whole day, was first minute to daven mincha gdola, let's stop it. That a nice one? Why not? Stop the mitzvah. Right across the street from here, that way, is Rabbi Khan's shul, Rabbi Khan's, or old man. Rabbi Khan's shul has a mincha gdola minyan every single day. Whatever it is, 12:40, 12:41, 1:15, no matter what it is, and you'll see tons of guys running for mincha gdola. It's nice. You have to daven mincha gdola? No, you have a whole day to daven, right? A lot of people who go to school like to daven right before RB. You understand? This way they don't have to go twice. They go mincha, a little bit of a break, and that. As well known, Chazon Ish tried to form a minyan to daven mincha gdola in his bed midrash. Once you have to take this home and read this to your children, even to whoever else is home. And they have to appreciate who the Chazon Ish was. Okay. Once there were only 9 people, and after 15 minutes effort, they located a man willing to serve as the tenant. But he insisted that in order to stay, he needed to ask a halakha question that he was permitted. Why? He asked the Chazon Ish, I invited someone to my home for an appointment in a few minutes, and I can either stay here and daven and make the minyan for the Chazon Ish, right? Or disband, or not meet the appointment, or disband. Chazon Ish did not hesitate. This is no question at all. It is better for you to keep your word, even if as a direct result of this, there is no minyan today. Girls, I have to appreciate this. Now why? Because it's not Chilul Shabbat, right? He's going to daven mincha, but he's not going to be able to get that level that he always tries to get. So the guy disbanded the Chazon Ish's minyan because he said to somebody, I'll see you at home. So how do we work SY time into this? I don't know. I'm sorry. My father, may rest in peace, you could have clocked it. Right? You know my father. You could have clocked it. And that's the way I was brought up. You tell somebody you're going to be there at 10, you're there at 10. Because you gave your words.
By us, it's 2
We're not. Okay, but yeah, it depends what it is. But a word is a word. Okay, I thought it's so important. You give your word to somebody. Okay, nice. Okay, I just want to answer the guy always is. This is here, you have a vision on the bottom. This is the nice thing to just know. If you do share it at home, this is so nice. These are the 2 angels on top of the Arod. If you flip the page, top of the page. Vayuach will be for safe and the Mala. They will be on top of the Arod, which is the Ark, the Torah. So ladies, try to have this image in your mind. The 2 angels on top of the Torah, you know what I'm talking about. Would had their wings facing upwards, right? Like this, up. But Nehem Ish Elahim. But their face was to each other, not up. That's the image, ladies. Yes, we should all grow spiritually. We should all strive to be closer to God, but never lose sight of the other human being. Of the other human being. It is. It's an image. I don't want to start out with people Anybody who buys a house anywhere near East 9th and L, good luck. You're never getting new cars. Who lives in East 9th and L?
They block the driveway.
You can't move there. East 9th and L? Now, I don't want to be, I'm not tzaddik, and I'm not such a good person. If you ask me halachically, are you allowed to block somebody's driveway to go to a minyan? The answer is no. Yeah, learn it from here. And especially in America, especially in New York, go to a minyan. You want to down 6:15 because it's good for you, and if you're blocking somebody else and you're double parking, not allowed. Halachically. No, again, I'm not such a time. I mean, I don't do that. I do other. It's the same halacha, and learn it from him. It's the same thing. You don't. Again, if it means that you have to do an isur to a right out, I didn't say. You have to figure this out. Okay, I've said this a lot. If you're going for an appointment for a lawyer interview, and the lawyer insists on eating in a non-kosher restaurant, you should say, I'm sorry, I don't eat much. Yes, that's true. But when it comes to other things like a chumrah, which are important, but it's something that you added on yourself, the big deal. I have so many such stories like that. So many stories like that. I have a Hanukkah story I'll do next week. Whatever. Parashat brought people home from shul. Okay? Brought people home from shul, and they were poor people. People still do this. I don't know if you know. I was just going to see one of our teachers. Okay. One of our teachers came on seminar, young guy, moved out, he was great. He had a meeting at a seminar. The kids loved him. And so I'm just schmoozing with him. Where are you? I'm in an apartment in Crown Heights. He goes, it's fascinating. He never prepares Friday night meal.
He's already invited.
Yes. He goes to the shul and he stands there and he waits, and every Friday night that he's there, he gets thing. This still happens. It's not old staple stuff. There are people in Israel, there are people in Israel, they wait to go down. Our children went to one of the families, very famous family, that's 70, 80 people Friday.
That was any that.
Unbelievable. Yes. So time 2 to 4 people in it. It's called time, right? So I'm assuming that in our house too, we do a little bit. Aleichem, right? There's the angels, and Eishet Chayil, there's other things that everyone knows. I see the Sudas. There are a lot of words, prayers that people say before. Comes home, takes a cup, makes it. So they asked him, the angels. He goes, angels aren't hungry there. So Aleichem is a nice thing. It's not mental. No, it's a nice thing. We should say to me wrong. We should do these things. We should. What if we have a person over who wants to talk a lot and I don't want to start? And every week you say it right over at the table, right? You bring the sheet home and you say it right over. But somebody else is there and he's talking. So look, you skip the part talk. End of the world. Now I really reported you down, right?
Then isn't it that you don't say the bar or your table becomes a table of.
Not if you're not saying the Torah because you don't want to embarrass them. 100%. 100%. Keep it either. But this is just a nice story. I don't know. Yeah, keep it either. Tremendous genius, 1700. Invited somebody to the place on Seder, no. Sit there, very poor man, he feels uncomfortable. Beautiful table set, they go to the first cup, they drink the first cup, and the man drops the cup. And all over the white table. By the next cup, the people tips the table under his knee. Imagine these great rabbis. He has nothing else to think about. He's in the middle of Seder. He didn't even come out and Seder. No. Tips the table and goes, oh my God. This is Judaism. This is rabbis. The bothers me that I gave a class last night.
How he explains this, that.
The table?
Yeah, how he not supposed to.
He did it purposely so the other person shouldn't feel bad. So he did. I'll tell you another story. That's not here, I'm 18 right now, I'm way over.
So we like,
So last night I gave, for those who remember, I gave a class in memory of Solomon. Very. There's a young man who died here this year, and every year we get together, the boys, and I give a class. Very nice. So we talk about rabbis, yeah, and people don't appreciate it, if you say rabbi, they think Besser, you know? No, I'm serious. I grew up with, these are heroes, they're heroes. That's where the most advice of the guy who drank at night. You gotta get this story. Rav Moshe Feinstein, have you ever heard of Rav Moshe Feinstein? Rav Moshe Feinstein, every minute of his life was important. He wrote tremendous amount of books. He was the halachic historian for the entire world. Even the Sephardic world listened to him. A bunch of boys were pranking rabbis, uncles. How did they prank? They pulled the rabbi up and they would ask him a stupid question. It's 11:30 at night. This is a story that happened. We got it from the person. 11:30 at night, this kid calls a high school kid, calls up Rav Moshe. The Rebbe said, it's 11:30, Rav Moshe gets up at 4:30. And I speak to Rabbi Feinstein. He's resting. I have an important question. Okay, so he said an important question for Feinstein. He takes the phone. He asks him some dumb thing. For Moshe cop right away. He called. Says, what's your name? See. Go to yeshiva. You're learning tomorrow? Yeah. What tomorrow? You're learning Baba, let's see it tomorrow. Do you know what's going on? He says nothing. Nothing. Go get it tomorrow. 11:45. Opens the Gemara to adopt these up to, and Rabbi Moshe said, let him learn. I would have killed the kid. I really would. I would have said, bring you in, I'm coming to smash your head.
need to see.
Yeah. Moshe that and burns the Gemara. Wait, I got it. Burn. 10 minutes, 15 minutes. You got it? No. You got it? So he finally understood it. He says, for Moshe, wow, pretty good. You know, I like it. Okay. Toast. He goes, I don't do toast. Toast. Oh, I'm sorry. Toast is a commentary on the Gemara. Very deep. Toast. You understand? Okay. And now, I don't know. Learning on the phone. Finish. You understand? He goes, yeah. It's the first time I ever understood it. Now they ask you a question, like a scroll, a bomb question on the phone. Tomorrow, I want you to come to school and ask it to your teacher. And ask the teacher this question. Teaches them the question. He gets up. The people who tell the story, the parents said they never saw a kid more excited to go to school. He's not a good student, bad student, unsuccessful. Comes to class and can't wait, for this class to start. So the Rabbi is teaching it those fuck, and he goes like this. So the Rabbi thinks, okay, where's the guy live? Guy go to the bathroom, like, what's your issue? Pulls up it. And the kid asks the question. Just the expression of the rabbi. Rabbi goes, that's funny. Where did you get this question? He goes, my Carusa. He goes, Carusa? Who's your Carusa? And he said, from that day and on, he didn't change from there. So, experience. You guys know Frank Shapiro? I got this story today. If you know Frank Shapiro, this is what he did. Because Frank Shapiro obviously can do better because he yells like crazy. No, nice yell. He says, the kid said, Moshe believes in me. That was it. No. The whole world was on his shoulders. And a kid who's pranking him, he's taking time to be nice to him. Girls, you have to know what a real rabbi is. We don't know what real rabbis. I mean, I'll be honest with you. We read stories about rabbis, this story, this, Besser. Yeah.
Yeah, but this is a meeting in the middle of the night, I can stay 2-3 hours.
You got it. Correct. Tremendous people. I would throw this thing out now and tell you stories of rabbis that I know. Hasidic rabbis, unbelievable things. So we should appreciate that. And this story with Adonish is a very famous story. Okay, so we can. All right, I'm just going to do very quick. I do this every year. It's this week's Parashat. It's so ironic. We're on page 3. It's so ironic. It's not ironic. Nothing's ironic. Vayishlach is always a week before Hanukkah. Hanukkah is probably, for us in America today, the most important holiday, and I'd like to tell you why. Based on what we always say, a word in the, just a word, just a word. In this week's Parashat, Vayishlach, Esav is out to kill Yaakov, because he came back after 20 years. Everybody got the picture, right? So Yaakov prepares himself by presents and also by praying. And here is his prayer. See it, chapter 32. We're good? Have I see it? Hatzileni na? Yeah? No? Yeah. Hatzileni na, please save me, says Yaakov to God. Miyad achi, miyad Esav. Every girl here should jump up. What's the problem?
Obviously, he says, you know this.
It's way redundant. Hashem saved me from my brother. If we would have stopped there, would you know who it is? How about if he skips the brother part, then he says from Esav? Why does it have to say Achi and Esav? Agreed? Prophetic 4 words. Prophetic. Esav is our enemy. Esav wants to destroy us. Esav and his children can destroy us in one of 2 ways. He might be Esav, he wants to kill me. Hitler, Yamach Shemo, Purim, want to kill us. Or he can want to be my brother. He would want me to say, no, Jews, non-Jews, everybody, what's the difference? The 2 threats. One is the Purim threat, and one is the Hanukkah threat. That's why Purim we celebrate physically, Hanukkah we celebrate spiritually. But the point is, the biggest threat to the Jewish people in this generation are both of them. Your grandparents, parents, grandparents, at least in my world, right? The biggest threat was Nazi Germany. And that's Esav. The biggest threat today, girls?
Assimilation.
We are losing people by the hundreds. The assimilation rate is over 75%. Over 75%. Not in Barclay and not in Flatbush, but in Ohio, yeah. In Minnesota, yeah. Go on college campus. Just go on any college campus. You would be shocked to know. And again, I say this every year, and every year, I'm not going to go through it.
They send their children out to college, they take a degree, it's not.
No comment on that statement. Yes, I think we send anybody anywhere there's a big risk. Yes, it's true.
The mixing.
And I always do this, and I do this a lot, and just touching it, but Hanukkah, and I'm going to prove. Hanukkah is the holiday of Jewish education. That's what we are celebrating. The Greeks didn't want to kill us. They wanted us to become Greeks. They wanted us not to keep Shabbat. No, Hellenization, exactly. Our own people are our worst enemies. I'm sorry to say that. I don't want to use the word enemy. What happened in America since World War II, it started already before World War II. So it's all after World War II. It started in Germany in 1800s. And that's called the Reform Movement. And what the Reform Movement and the Conservative Movement wanted, you got to give them credit. They wanted to include more people. Is that a nice thing? It's a beautiful thing. How do you include more people? You water down the values. You want more people to come in, right? So therefore, oh, you're not that? Okay. Oh, you're not that? Okay.
Make it easy on them.
Make it easy. How did they make it easy? They said that if your father is Jewish, you are Jewish. Boom, we're done. Done. Ever since that decision, I can't tell you how many families, children are not Jewish anymore. Because they're not Jewish. You won't get to a conservative school, half of them are not Jewish. It's such a mess. It's a big deal. So I'm not going to put things in your head. I'm sure you have things to do in life. But if you're thinking about helping Jewish community at large, Who thought about this? That's why you have to give credit. I don't care what you think. His name was Menachem Mendel Schneerson. Rebbe. The Rebbe saw it, envisioned it, and you know how many Chabad Shliachim dedicated their life. I'm crying because it's not fair. People make fun of them about his scriptures. These guys and these girls, every part of the world. And they say, but they have their values. They will not accept you as a Jew if your mother is not Jewish. They will not accept. Did you ever seen you guys dressed on Shabbat? They don't take their kapata off, they wear what the Rebbe wore. Because this is Judaism. But you want to eat our meals? But now, please. You want to come in? Fine. You want to drink schnapps? They're very big on that. No, they forget it out. Food and whiskey brings people. That's inclusion. What do you? It's real. You have to talk about this. They are like the warmest. This is all the Rebbe. Because the Rebbe saw what was going on, and you have no idea till today. I told you already, my brother, his kids, all their dream. What's their dream? To go to a place where the Jews are not from and make them from. That's their dream. They don't even dream about money. They dream about being the Torah's people. That's what we need. And you should know that too. If you have people in your workplace, I don't know if you're working, I hope you are, whatever you're doing. If you have somebody who's Jewish, they're really Jewish. Bring them in. Invite them to a Friday night. You'd be surprised, be shocked that it could make a difference. What hurts me the most, every time I go, I haven't been to Israel for 4.5 years, is the state of Israel. How sad is it that you have thousands and thousands of Jewish people in Israel who don't know what a Jewish word is? No Jewish education. It's no yeshiva. The moment you take yeshiva out, it's over. Easy. You know how many stories I tell you. Go to the army girls. You see beautiful boys and beautiful girls ready to dedicate themselves, which is the most beautiful thing. Shabbat, they never get Shabbat in their life. This is our country, our people, Eretz Israel. They know Kippur with this around. Don't listen. There's not Kippur, not eat Shabbat, not eat kosher. Have you ever been to Tel Aviv, guys?
No, I'm kidding.
Go to Tel Aviv. Go see what Friday night looks like. And these are our people, these are God's people. And I'm not bashing, I'm sad. I'm sad. And that's why I was just at a wedding. I don't know if anybody remembers. I remember this, you remember Dr. Brickman, still here?
I know.
Yeah, so Sharon, his daughter.
You know the other side.
So Sharon Brickman's father used to live here, and she was my, you guys remember that? Yeah, Sharon. So she married Abraham, she lived in the Upper West Side. She herself, you can see, she had singles, Friday nights, whatever, she's a big ball. Who's her hero? Peter hero? Rabbi Grossman. Rabbi Grossman. Disco Rabbi, guys, open your eyes to see who great people are. Rabbi Grossman was a guy from Israel, Yerushalayim, a real Hasidic guy, regular guy, no money, no education, no nothing. Personality and heart. Look him up. And Rabbi Grossman said, I'm not sitting in Yerushalayim where all the people are from. I need to do something. Okay? He moved to a town called Migdal HaEmek. Migdal HaEmek was a drug-infested town. Almost no one was religious. And he was known as the disco rabbi. First of all, he's just a stature, he's older now, but that is gorgeous blue eyes, piercing eyes, a mouth, meaning he speaks beautifully, warm, disco rabbi. He would walk in Friday nights into the disco. He would stop the music and he would say, Boli Pale. One after the other, you see what he built up in the dollar. Thousands of people became religious. Again, these are people. But I know I'm reading this, but it's really important. It's I'm speaking, they have a program here for Hanukkah, I'm speaking that night, I'm definitely gonna talk about this. Because we shouldn't think that the goal of Hanukkah is giving presents. No, the goal of Hanukkah is Jewish education. Whatever we can do to build Jewish education, to make sure our children know and other children know what it means, a Sunday day school, anything, NCSY, right? You know, these organizations, these are all organizations that have made Jews who knew nothing into something. It's a big deal. That's the challenge. And all from, again, I repeat, as it said in Isaiah, from two extra words in the Torah. God said, be careful. And of the two, which one did God do first? He comes before his son. Because that is very difficult. Because here we lose, trust me, Holocaust, terrible. Concentration camps, terrible. But we didn't lose the soul of the Jew. Here we're losing the soul of the Jew. They don't know anything. Okay, totally.
Also, Hanukkah speak up.
Yes, that's where we come from. Look at it. Okay. So let's do one thing. What should I do? Yeah. So to make this point, there is a story in this week's Parashat that on surface, I don't understand what the heck happened. And even till today, I don't understand what happened. One of those like, yeah. And yet, two things today are affected because of that story. What's the story? The night before Yaakov physically meets Esau, he meets the angel of Esau. Okay, girls, it's already a problem. How do I teach you? What does that mean, Rabbi? Is it real angel? Yeah, like an angel. That's it. He stayed alone, we'll do that next week, not now. And ish imo ad alot hashach. An angel, whatever that is, representing Esau, physically struggles with Yaakov. The angel sees that he can't succeed. Look me, he hits Yaakov right here. Everybody knows the story, right? I still suffer. Tav 10. Vayomer. And the angel said, Lo Yaakov Ya'ameno Chimcha. Your name is not Yaakov anymore. Your name is Israel. Where do you get about Mitzvah? In Israel. Come from this story. This is the story. It was not the Zionist. It was the Malach or whoever it was, like Yaakov, that called him Israel. That's why we're Bnei Israel. That's why it's the state of Israel. It's a crazy story. We're affected. And we're also affected, girls, when you want to make a good steak. Lam Gimel, okay, Lo Yochlu Bnei Israel Gidat Hashem till today. So there's a part of the animal. I don't know that much about it. Anybody very into steaks and meats and stuff? So supposedly it's in this area. Supposedly it's in that area. Supposedly you get a good piece of steak from there. We're not allowed to eat it. Even from a kosher animal, kosher cow. We're not allowed to eat that part. Why? To remember the facts. You know it begs. Why is it so important? Why is this fight so important? Which in itself is hard to understand. So first of all, I just want to play a sideshow. So two things that affect us. We're called Israel and we don't need to. So let me just throw just a theory. Some people learn. The Malach of Esau was not a Malach. It was the inner struggle of each of us. I like it. The inner struggle of each of us. We have the Yaakov in us, right? And we have the Esau in us. And that's like the old cartoon. You know, this side, right? Little guy on this side. And every time there's a struggle. Whatever it is, girls, I'm sure none of you have these struggles, because girls got the other struggle. Should I say this left arm? Should I say this left arm? Should I do this? Should I do that? That's the struggle. So Hashem is telling Yaakov, you should know, you are the father. Again, yes, Abraham is the father, but no, we don't say B'nai Abraham. That last week we say B'nai Israel, because Yaakov is where we all come from. And his lesson is that you're going to have struggles, right? And as he was struggling, he was getting stronger Where did he hit him? Right over here. And that's the support system, right? The support system. And he was weakening, but he kept it up. So we need to remember, yes, life as a Jew spiritually is not always easy. Not always easy. And remember, and that's why we're B'nai Israel, right? We fought with the Malach, Yaakov fought with the Malach. We don't eat again on Hashem. Nice? Good. I'm running out of time. Listen again. So the Chavetz Chaim is a tremendous story. Tremendous story. Of all the Avot, Yaakov was the last one. Abraham, we said, was the first Jew. You want to attack? Why not Abraham? Why did we not learn that there was a struggle that Abraham had? Fair. That's okay. Maybe you have the answer to the question. Not Yitzhak, not Abraham. Fair? You guys with me? No, this one? You okay? Okay. Flip on. Yay. Yes. You want to answer? Yeah.
So I think the answer.
It's okay. You're giving an answer. It doesn't have to be the answer.
You're full and you're thinking that one way from my dog. Actually, black and
Okay.
so trouble about that. Working for 20 years. Then he's running away from my mind. Did everything was supposed to do, separate his house and his son and separate and hair, but he wasn't like praying like that. So he was struggle of forcing over the water, the beach, and then the struggle of the only kind of struggle of.
So his internal struggle was stronger than the other one. His internal struggle. Okay, I like it. I'm gonna go in a different direction. That doesn't mean yours is bad. But I'm going a different direction to validate what I said before, because that's important for me. Listen carefully. And if you do come to this class next chapter 9, you'll hear part of this again. Right? It's in your sheet from the bottom. The world stands on 3 things. Go. Torah, Avodah. Each one of the avots represent one of those 3 things. Come on, easy. What does Abraham represent? Besser. Yitzhak is Avodah because he was the Korban. Yaakov is what? Torah Yaakov, except the 10 anyway. This is what the Chavetz Chaim says. Chesed, Jewish people do chesed, let them do chesed. That's not going to save the Jewish nation as a nation. The Goyim have chesed. You don't know anybody who's not Jewish who doesn't do chesed. Oh, they're beautiful chesed. I've been to hospitals, they do great chesed. So attacking chesed, right, does not mean that you're going to lose the Jewish people. Avodah, a lot of people do worship. You ever see the Muslims? A lot of people do worship. So you don't save the Jewish people by attacking worship. That's what you have to stop. I will prove it to you. It's called the Soviet Union. Do you know that the biggest rabbis and the holiest places in the 1800s were parts of the Soviet Union, the Jewish people? All the Russia. What happened in the early 1900s? The Tsar was thrown away. Communism started. The communist concept was no religion, atheism. They didn't believe in religion. What stayed open? So I was there. I went to Moscow. The shul stayed open. Sure, I'm a shul. The Chesed organization, Jewish, stayed open. What closed? Yeshivas.
The what?
The yeshivot. They banned Torah education. Girls counted. I'm older than you. I was here. Remember, they came from Russia when they let them out. They knew Stifo. 60 years. Stifo. Oh, grandma, you used to like candles.
That was bullshit.
Bobby, the dance. These are children and grandchildren. Children? Somebody kidnap somebody, I don't know. Kidnap, somebody. $1 million. Guys, I saw it in my own eyes, 60 to 70 years. Us. Why? Because you took Torah away. And the moment you take Torah away, Jewish, and I feel bad because Jewish education in America is $30,000 a kid. I understand. So I'm going back. I'm professional. I understand that. I understand, and I'm sitting here. My kids went through it. I want to tell you something. My granddaughter now wants to go to Israel. Right? To go, she's back. When I send my kids and my daughter to Israel, it cost me $12,000 down today. Okay, they're up to 29, 30. That's without anything, without the extra, without the cookies and eating out. Send his daughter to Israel for a year is $45,000. So I understand, but we have to understand. I'm not pushing Israel, but we have to understand that Torah education is it's our lifeline. You don't want to set the block, don't. You want to set the place, don't. But Torah education, and it's important. And it's important to bring Torah education into our lives, like Shabbat, Torah. They have to see it, they have to feel it, and that's the only thing I'm going to say. And I'll talk more about it another time. Thank you. Yeah. No, next one. Yeah.